Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chase, and throughout my time on this committee, I've been surprised to learn just how closely intertwined the offshore oil and gas industry is with the offshore wind industry. The industries have similar manufacturing needs. They pull from a similarly trained, skilled workforce. And the same companies that build vessels for oil and gas have been doing so for offshore wind projects along the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. As you said in your testimony, the skills honed in our offshore oil and gas industry now fuel a burgeoning renewable sector, including offshore wind. And I represent Virginia's 2nd Congressional District, so down in Virginia Beach, which is home to a very new and still in construction offshore wind project with Dominion Energy. Also in Virginia, our governor and our Commonwealth has adopted an all-the-above energy approach. So we are very open-minded, especially in my district. So this committee has consistently advocated for an all-above energy strategy, seeking a balance that keeps energy affordable, jobs growing, and our economies robust in states across the country. We lead the world in the efficiency of our oil and gas production, but America should lead in every form of energy. So I'm just wondering if you could tell me, how do these two industries, the oil and gas industry and the offshore wind industry specifically, work together and complement each other? I know that in my district, also, we compete sometimes for workforces. It's been interesting to watch offshore wind develop and see some of even our ship repair, shipbuilding industries kind of complement and fill some gaps when they needed work with some of the offshore demand. So I'm just wondering how oil and gas and wind can work to complement each other.
Thank you, Congresswoman, for that question. Look, I can tell you it's no secret that I've been talking about a balanced approach to energy for our nation for many years now. I've been with the port for almost 20 years. With the advent of offshore wind, in particular offshore wind thought in the Gulf of Mexico, we have been talking about an energy addition for our country for all those years, not to the detriment of oil and gas. We need to continue to produce that because we need it for our everyday lives. However, when it comes to everything that's been done in the offshore energy sector, when it comes to offshore oil and gas, that is absolutely transferable to offshore wind. In fact, customers of Port Fourchon, our users, were some of the many companies that built Block Island. We are actually retrofitting vessels in Port Fourchon at Bollinger Shipyard to work in the offshore wind industry in the Northeast. So it is absolutely transferable. Lessons learned over the years in the construction of offshore oil and gas projects can absolutely be transferred to offshore wind projects.
So they can exist peaceably and also complement each other if done correctly. Let's see, and for Mr. Wilson, my district, again, in Southeast Virginia, beautiful and unique region, home to some of the nation's most critical national security assets as well, including the Navy, and some of the most beautiful beaches and the nation's largest estuary, the Chesapeake Bay. Recreational and commercial boating and fishing are some of the region's biggest economic drivers, and the abundant wildlife and diverse ecosystems make the Atlantic coast and the Chesapeake a true national treasure. So for these reasons, my constituents and I have serious concerns about the potential impacts of offshore oil and gas development off our coast. At the same time, we recognize our region's skyrocketing energy needs, given the increase in data centers, especially in Virginia, and the needs of the Navy, as well as rising energy costs. So my question to you is, how can we ensure we're meeting our nation's energy needs, reducing foreign reliance, powering our own defense industry technologies, and reducing energy costs for the American people without threatening the delicate ecosystems and recreational economy by drilling offshore, especially in places like Virginia?
Thank you, Congresswoman. Williams has not advocated for production off the Atlantic coast. We happen to supply 90% of the natural gas that goes into Virginia through our Transco pipeline. As you know, Virginia is expected to triple its energy needs by 2030. Double by 2030, triple by 2040. If we don't have the energy to supply the data centers you're talking about, we're going to lose ground on the national scale and on the world scale in terms of our national security. We have a current project, the Southeast Supply Enhancement Project, which will serve Virginia as well. It'll serve enough natural gas to provide energy for more than 9 million homes. We need to simplify our infrastructure permitting in this country so that those sorts of projects can go in. We take great care for the environment in and around our projects and great care for our communities in and around our projects. I'll just give you one quick example. A project like the Southeast Supply Enhancement, 20 years ago, we would have spent about $10 million on environmental permitting and achieved the same result we're going to achieve today, which is a very good result. Today, we're going to spend over $100 million, and we're going to take a lot more time. So that cost is being borne by the American consumer. So if we can streamline our permitting, it'll be cheaper for the American consumer. It'll give Virginia the energy it needs, and everyone will be better off.
Agreed. Thank you. And I yield back